we discuss the latest 2024 transfer plans. Are we set to sign a new striker and a superstar attacking player for next season? Tons of stories to break down and report today, my friends. I hope you guys enjoy. Hit that like button, share your thoughts and opinions. But before we continue on, make sure you guys use the special discount codes to take advantage of Black Friday sales. And of course, get ready to buy any club merch in time for Christmas. You'll find all the links below in the description. Don't forget to use Nini10 at checkout to get 10% off your final order. So my friends, I got you this Christmas time. And now let's get straight into the news. Let's get this story out the way first and we discuss Romelu Lukaku. Now this weekend he was in the headlines for the right reasons as he scored 4 goals against Azerbaijan in like 20 minutes. And I guess with the fine form that he's been in for Roma this season, scoring 9 goals in 14 appearances, well, reports in Italy suggest that Roma now are getting ready to exercise their right to sign Lukaku on a permanent deal at the end of the season. Now, as we remember, when we agreed to loan him to Roma near the end of last summer, there was a gentleman's agreement for Roma to sign him for around 38 million euros. Now, in my opinion, I think that's an absolute bargain. I can imagine Roma selling Tammy Abraham for more money and reinvesting that money into signing a Lukaku, which helps us out for next season. Now, I'm always going to kind of feel like it's a shame that Lukaku wasn't really able to have a career with us. We all know the drama, we all know the controversies, and listen, when he announced the fact that he doesn't want to train under Pochettino or come back to this club whatsoever, I was ready for him to go. And I guess the positive thing is that the money we're set to earn from his sale will be reinvested now back into signing a striker for next season. And I'll be discussing that striker after I get this story out of the way first. Now, we got some more context around Lukaku's time during the summer, courtesy of his father. His father revealed that he was hoping that Lukaku would accept the offer from Al Hilal, where they were offering him 45 million euros a season. He would have been there for at least 2 years. And as his dad said, listen, you're 30 years old, you have a family, you got 2 kids. Think about yourself, think about the money. He said instead Lukaku still had ambitions, of course, to remain in Europe for sporting reasons. He wants to have a successful Euros with the Belgium team after having a very disappointing time with them during the World Cup recently. And obviously his dad's saying, listen, with how you're being treated in Italy right now, with the type of abuse you're receiving where it's making me quite uncomfortable, listen, think about your career. This is the advice I give to my brother. Now listen, parents would have their own relationships with their kids, right? Who am I to be telling him, oh, your son's wrong, X, Y, Z? Parents are going to defend their kids. It's how the world works. But it's positive news to know that Lukaku's lawyers now are working alongside AS Roma to make sure that this move turns into a permanent sale during the summer, and to have guaranteed income like this coming in is going to help us readdress any issues we have in our squad. So that is the Lukaku story out the way first. Let's discuss the updates surrounding Victor Osimhen. Now, I think the last story segues in very nicely to this one because, of course, if we're set to receive nearly 40 million euros for next summer as a guarantee, we are going to reinvest all that money into signing Victor Osimhen. Now, today, Romano was interviewed on a podcast and he revealed more insights and gave us more context around Osimhen's desire and his preference to sign for us. Now, Romano mentioned that Man United would have had an opportunity to sign him because Victor was very interested in United's proposal, but United aren't looking to sign any striker. I guess they want to give time to Højlund to be able to grow, because I think the guy's a decent talent. Let's see what happens there, but that works out beautifully for us. Now, of course, in terms of Premier League clubs also looking at Victor for next summer, that's Arsenal, that's Spurs, and compared to all our London rivals, Osimhen has a preference, of course, to sign for us over all of them. So for me, this isn't surprising whatsoever. His contract expires in 18 months' time. I'm hoping that we can do some crazy business to bring the valuation down. Now, reports are saying that Napoli want around 100 million euros, but listen, if they don't get Champions League football come the end of this season, with everyone knowing that Osimhen is set to leave this summer, how much buying power and negotiation power do Napoli really have, considering that they must reinvest back in their team? They've already sacked their manager, Rudy Garcia. Things aren't going perfectly this season. In my head, I'd love if we could sign Osimhen for around 80 million, knowing that Lukaku funds half that move for next summer. That could be particularly helpful for us if, God forbid, we don't get European football for next season. These types of sales are going to really matter. So it's great to know that these conversations are happening right now and that there is intent and interest from Osimhen, of course, to find himself at this football club. Let's hope our directors and our owners now can make something magical happen for next summer. So my friends, share your thoughts and opinions. Are you excited by this news? Let's move on to the next story, and we remain in Naples because we had a very interesting report coming out from ESPN today, and ESPN aren't too bad in terms of reliability when it comes to their sources, right? And they confirm that we are showing interest in Khavaratskhelia of Napoli. Now, again, with these types of stories, it's very easy that it could be like a complete gas thing. Can you even necessarily believe these reports? Listen, my friends, of course, we know we want to sign a striker and centre-back. I think that's been confirmed by numerous outlets, but we've also been showing interest in signing a superstar attacking player. Now, we aren't finished when it comes to revamping our squad, and the reports around Musiala, Verts, they're not lies, they're not fake. Personally, in my opinion, I feel like if we were to sign any type of player like this, it will be fully dependent on whether we get Champions League football for next season, because we have FFP laws we must adhere to. Without European football, I don't think we can technically fund these moves unless we make some crazy sales during the summer, and even then, would these players be excited to sign for us without Champions League football? Most likely not. But regardless, we will prepare for every outcome and possibility. And I think this board has shown after the signings of Enzo, Caicedo and many more that we're in the market to sign some of the best talents that Europe can offer. And I guess these Khavaratskhelia reports aren't too surprising. Now, of course, the difficult thing will be is that Khavaratskhelia has a contract taking him to 2027. Reports in Italy suggest that already Napoli are holding contract extension talks with the player. I'd imagine it will dramatically boost his wages so he can remain with them. But if Napoli somehow don't secure Champions League football, I feel like there's an opportunity to start tempting Khavaratskhelia. Now, clubs like City, Barcelona, Newcastle and Real Madrid are all keeping their eyes on the player. It's only natural. I felt like people haven't spoken about him as much compared to the start of last season, where he was this unknown player that no one knew about, who was just taking Serie A by storm. It's the type of story that all us football fans love. And of course, the partnership that he had alongside Victor Osimhen, one of the most lethal partnerships in European football, in my opinion. They both played an incredible part in helping Napoli lift the Scudetto for the first time since 1990. So is it any surprise that if we hope to sign a superstar attacking player, would you not look to sign the player that has the partnership, the understanding and the relationship with the number one striker you are hoping to sign in the summer? That could make a lot of sense on paper. With question marks potentially around guys like Madueke, Mudryk, Sterling. Listen, I'm not here to put out any negativity, but again, we'll see how these guys perform as the season continues. I don't think it's any surprise that we consider signing another attacking player if it means replacing someone that isn't necessarily living up to the goods at this point in time. Now, Khavaratskhelia is a no-brainer. I mean, there aren't many players at the highest level who regularly get double digits for goals and assists. I mean, Khavaratskhelia, that partnership with Osimhen, I was speaking about this earlier. I can just envision those back post crosses for Osimhen to run into. His ability to find him inside the box. Listen, strikers need that reliable service. I was trying to find the exact numbers behind how many assists that Khavaratskhelia directly found Osimhen with. I couldn't find that, and I didn't have the time to go through all the goals myself. But I think one important thing when it comes to breaking down teams is, at times you need your players to form that understanding, that telepathic connection on the field. That normally comes over time, but sometimes you don't need months and months to form those partnerships, yeah? Sometimes players just intrinsically understand what each player needs, and I feel like that's something that Khavaratskhelia and Osimhen definitely found. I mean, Osimhen's been raving about this guy with his training performances and how important he was for Napoli last season. And listen, he didn't necessarily end the season on the high he started with, but I think respect goes out to the player, right? Because I think teams really understood, okay, we must do everything in our power to limit Napoli's left-hand side because this guy is incredibly dangerous. leave him 1v1. And I'm sure you guys saw what he did against Alexander-Arnold against Liverpool last season. You know, the guy's strength, you know, his ability to just like time his openings. You know, I think the close control, the outside of his boot, the directness, you know, he runs towards goal. He can cross either foot. He can shoot either foot. I think this kid has a lot of potential, a lot of talent, and I think he could definitely do bits with us. And it is quite exciting to think about both Victor and Khavaratskhelia playing together in the blue shirt. Let's see what happens though, my friends. He's having a good season. He's doing great things with the Georgian national team during the the Nations League as well. But as I'm stressing, if we don't get Champions League football, I feel like, you know, this X-Factor player we want to sign won't be a thing next summer. And instead, priority will be defender and striker. So that's the Khavaratskhelia news out of the way, my friends. Let's now move on to the other reports. And let's discuss the latest news surrounding centre-backs 2024. We discussed this guy already, and that is none other than Sporting Lisbon's Diomande. Now, a sport interesting report from a bowler in Portugal, and it's been revealed that Diomande doesn't want to leave Sporting Lisbon until the end of this season. So of course, he's anticipating a summer 2024 move, which makes a lot of sense. And, you know, with players like Silva most likely leaving us at the end of the season, Trevor Chalobah, let's see what happens with him. Again, very unfortunate this season. He's picked up another small knock, which is just like ruining his chances, get back on the field. And it seems like due to the latest injury knock, Dortmund and now Bayern Munich are now having a bit of reservations around making a move to sign him because Chalobah won't be back until the end of January. So it's very unfortunate, very unlucky. But going back to Diomande, I think he's doing the right thing remaining at Sporting Lisbon. Now, as we know, our scouts have been heavily watching him already. I think if he continues to keep having success with Lisbon, has a great season's end with them, he will have that move in the summertime. But let's see what happens. Of course, there is an 80 million release clause inserted in his contract. I think that's a crazy amount of money. I can't see us exercising that whatsoever. Lisbon sell him to us for less. Fingers crossed. And fingers crossed too that, you know, these like current talks about us buying controlling stake in Sporting Lisbon actually go through, because that could be like a massive thing for us to be able to loan our players to Sporting Lisbon and hopefully sign their star players for less money as well. So let's see what happens there, my friends. So right now, before we end with things, let's discuss the latest club news. And let's end things on a positive, because finally, after 130 days, Christopher Nkunku is training with the first team. And that's alongside players like Romeo Lavia. But even better news, guys like Gusto and Korbel have been training during international break. They're back. Everyone's coming back soon. We're waiting for Carnes now, and obviously the only setback is with Trevor Chalobah. But this will be one of the first rarest times this season where Pochettino has close to a full strength squad to work with. Now that international break is over, I'm very curious to see what type of changes Poch makes in the lineup. I'll be discussing them tomorrow. Of course, Badiashile coming back. Listen, I understand why he hasn't been immediately put in the first team. We had some very important games, and there's no point killing momentum. That was the right move in the end, and I think during that difficult month, we've come out on top, and things looking quite promising right now. So this is a big opportunity for many players like your Nonis, Badiashiles, guys who had great international break periods too, and of course, long-term injured players now to come back and try and stake their place in this first team. If anything, I want to see rotation. And normally, winter times, we have our worst periods which killed our seasons. Hopefully this time things will be a bit different, because we have so many stars coming back of such great depth and quality that we can afford to rotate. And I don't see fatigue killing our opportunities this time. In terms of Nkunku, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we see him on the bench against Newcastle. I do think for the first two games, give this guy at least, 50 minutes against Newcastle, 30 minutes in the next game, and slowly get his body acclimatized to playing in this league for the first time, of course, after being out for so long. I'm sure we have flashbacks of Reece James getting rushed back way too soon and then instantly getting injured again and being out during very, very important times. So fingers crossed that we see him against Newcastle. I'm very excited, and tomorrow I've been working on a video detailing what to expect from Christopher Nkunku. I'm releasing that tomorrow, so I'll see you then, my friends. So I guess on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. Share your thoughts and opinions, my friends. I'm in EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.